he stressed that workers need to be thick-skinned. This was basically a response to workers telling him that they were being called the N-word today.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Just a reminder, we have a phone number, and when we are not live, you can leave us a voicemail. The phone number is, again, 844-899-TVLR. That is 844-899-8857. Adam, let's go ahead and play that voicemail that we got last week.
Adam and Jacob, this is Joe Marshall, indicator. Musk invites auto union to hold organizing vote at the factory. That's Elon Musk and his Tesla plant out in California, supposedly employs 10,000 people. Musk's Twitter said Tesla will do nothing to stop them. The UAW wouldn't comment, but spokesman Brian Roethlisberger pointed out that Tesla's fighting the U.S. National Labor Relations Board ruling from last year that found the company and Musk engaged in unfair labor practices in 2018. I just thought I'd give you that little bit of information. Maybe y'all want to look into it in the future. Talk to you later. Bye now.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, Joe. I was wanting to talk about that anyway, so now I've got a good excuse to. I appreciate it. He did also mention in his phone call about Delphi's retirement. There is legislation, and I cut that part out because I don't know as much about it, but I did want to just mention it that he mentioned that there is legislation that's going through the U.S. Senate right now to pay for the retirement of salaried Delphi workers in the United States who lost their pension or their 401k or something because of bankruptcy. And he mentioned how these were not union workers at Delphi. The union workers at Delphi were able to retain their pension, actually. It was the non-union workers at Delphi, and now the taxpayers are having to kind of bail them out. And so that's kind of an interesting, I want them to get their pensions, but that is an interesting, interesting bit there. So Elon Musk did tweet an invitation to the United Auto Workers to organize his plant. He did this while he was throwing a temper tantrum on Twitter about Biden not mentioning Tesla in one of his speeches, which, frankly, cry more about it. That's how I feel. In his tweet, he said that Tesla will not interfere, but he will absolutely not sign a binding agreement to that effect. He will not sign that.
He'll tweet it.
He'll tweet it.
Sign on it.
But he won't sign on it. And the insistence that he would not interfere is completely at odds with the actual record at Tesla plants. The NLRB has ruled multiple times in favor of workers alleging that they have been fired by Tesla for their union support, and this after multiple appeals by Tesla. The NLRB has ruled in favor of the workers there. That means that Tesla was found to have illegally fired multiple workers and had to offer them reinstatement and back pay. So, but of course he's not addressing that. And of course, it's totally silly. His tweet is completely at odds with his actual record that we can see. We all have computers. We all have eyes. We can see his record. And it's totally at odds with what his tweet says. This isn't the first time that he's lied on Twitter when it comes to unions, though. He said that his plants offer better wages and working conditions, too, when compared to union plants, which is, again, in the same way that it's amazing that he would say, I won't interfere in a union campaign when we know that you've done it before. It's absolutely astounding to claim that you have better wages and working conditions than union plants, because you can find this information, right?
Yeah.
This is not difficult information to find. And so in this clip, we're going to play a worker. More Perfect Union did a series of videos about Tesla a few months ago. And in this clip, a worker who was fired by Tesla for his union support and who the NLRB ruled in favor of, he is talking about working at Tesla compared to his old union auto worker job. Adam, let's play that.
But when I was at NUMMI, doing the same job I was doing there, technically a auto worker, building a car on the line, we were making a lot more money, between 30 and 35 an hour. And at Tesla, we were getting $20 an hour on second shift. That's with the premium. The hours we had to work were just 12 hours every day. No questions asked, 12 hours, 6 days a week. I've seen guys that were so afraid of missing that they were throwing up in buckets because they were sick, but they didn't want to lose their job. With Tesla, you weren't sure if you were going to be there next month. But when the turnover so fast, you couldn't plan in nothing. They're using them up and spitting them out.
I mean, he was talking about making $10 to $15 an hour more. $10 to $15 an hour more at NUMMI, which what the hell even is that? I mean, that's not even like a big three automaker, right? I mean, so of course, obviously, the big three automakers with their UAW contracts are going to be comparable to damn NUMMI. I mean, I don't even know what that is. But he was making $10 to $15 an hour more at NUMMI than he was making on premium time at Tesla on the night shift. He was making $30 to $35 an hour at NUMMI and $20 an hour at night at Tesla.
So it kind of gets worse from there because NUMMI is a joint factory partnership between GM and Toyota. They closed back in 2010, and Tesla more or less took over the physical property and the plant and repurposed it. So my guess would be this guy is literally working at the same location. It's now a new company. It's under Tesla. It's doing a little bit different work. But, yeah, I mean, sounds like he was probably driving to literally the same property that he'd done for years, and now he's taking a massive pay cut.
As if low wages, long hours, and being so scared to miss a shift that you literally come into work puking, as if that wasn't bad enough, there are other extreme issues with worker safety at Tesla. Let's play that next clip.
In 2015 alone, the rate of serious injury at Tesla's Fremont factory was 102% above the industry average. And in 2016, it was above the average by 82.5%. Tesla claims its 2019 injury rate dropped below the industry average, but the Center for Investigative Reporting found that Tesla underreported its injuries that year. On top of that, California's inspection agency said it couldn't verify Tesla's claims about safety improvements.
Basically, everybody would cut their arms and hands. Sometimes people would bleed off the line and have to run to the bathroom, so it would be a man down, a second person. I would have to stop the line, and once you stop it, if you stop the line there, management come over, would start yelling at you, and they'd be like, why did he cut his hand? What is he doing? Oh, change him out with someone better. Almost like a modern day industrial sweatshop.
I mean, that's insane.
I don't see Musk tweeting about that.
Yeah. And if that wasn't bad enough, non-white workers have to deal with rampant racism. Adam, let's play that last clip.
When I was working at Tesla, my experience on the line being called the N-word, different people call me the N-word, not just workers, there are actually managers or supervisors and stuff like that on the line. Where I come from, you just don't do that at work. It's not a place to be called that.
When you've got over 100 people who have said they've been called the N-word at the Tesla factory in Fremont, that's pretty overwhelming evidence that there's a problem there.
That's amazing.
Over 100 people at one plant?
That's like, what in the world is going on there? Like, I really recommend y'all go back and watch these videos from More Perfect Union. You can find More Perfect Union on YouTube. Anywhere you find us, you can find them. And they did all these videos between 5 and 8 months ago. And when I first saw the video starts and he's like, yeah, I was called the N-word. I'm like, I mean, were you really? I mean, that's pretty crazy in like 2020, 2021. Like, that's a pretty big claim there. And then they go into talking about they've got 100 affidavits from 100 different workers talking about I was called the N-word. Like, what is going on? That's insane. crazy. And all this on top of the lower wages, the longer hours, the unsafe working conditions. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, I think it starts at the top. I mean, you look at Elon Musk and the way he conducts himself and the way he acts, the way he lies. I think, like many billionaires and spoiled rich boys, I think he's got a God complex. I guess he thinks he's going to be Iron Man or something.
Yeah. Speaking about Elon personally, the worker in that video said that he emailed Elon personally. Like, apparently all the workers there are given Elon's email address. And subsequent to that, Elon did not respond to him directly, but he sent out a company-wide email telling people, quote, not to be jerks to, quote, less represented groups, unquote. But he stressed that workers need to be thick-skinned. This was basically a response to workers telling him that they were being called the N-word today.
I mean, he didn't even have the decency to send an email saying, like, hey, we're against racism.
Yeah.
We condemn that. We will not allow people to act that way at work. We're going to... Really? I mean, he could have just BS in the email, which, I mean, obviously he did anyway, but... I think that shows a level of arrogance and bigotry, frankly.
This worker never missed a day. He even got awards for his performance at Tesla. He was such a good worker, he got awarded for it by Tesla. And then he was fired subsequent to raising these complaints for having a, quote, bad attitude. Not for being late, not for performance issues, because he had a bad attitude. That's why they say that they fired him. And then, if you are fired at Tesla, you are shuttled, as an employee at Tesla, you are shuttled to the plant from somewhere off plant. If you are fired, you can't take the shuttle back. And so they made him walk after being fired for having a, quote, bad attitude to wherever he needed to go. They wouldn't let him use the shuttle. I mean, this is just insane.
That's despicable.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I can't help but wonder how many people, how many minorities working there are dealing with bigotry in the workplace, but now are too scared to say anything.
Yeah, he said that he brought it up in front of other coworkers. I think it was like in a meeting or something, and talked about how, like, I would rather not be called the N-word. And he said that they laughed at him. Like, what I mean, this is bizarre.
And see, this is part of why unionization in the workplace is so connected to ending discrimination and to fighting racism and sexism and all forms of bigotry, because with a union you have more protection to actually stand up for yourself.
Right.
And you have the ability to fight collectively to address these kind of issues.
If you don't have a union, you can be fired for having a bad attitude.
Right.
You can be fired for having a bad attitude.
Legally, they're not supposed to fire you for reporting discrimination. That's a violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
But good luck proving that on your own without a union to have your back, and almost certainly in front of some reactionary pro-employer judge to an understaffed federal agency that, unless he has it on tape, unless they put it in writing, it's going to be hard for him to get a positive ruling from the EEOC. It's really despicable. I mean, and I'm having flashbacks to some conversations I've had with workers over the years, and that I represented, who particularly black women who were dealing with bigotry on the job, and yes, when they said something, that was the response was that they had a bad attitude. Right. In so many words, that's kind of they were a problem. They were difficult to work with. Well, no. They just don't like racism.
Yeah. Imagine that.
They shouldn't, and no one should ever have to put up with that in the workplace or anywhere, really, but certainly not at work. And it's despicable, and I think that speaks a lot to the kind of culture that's been cultivated in this company.
Yeah.
So if ever there was a company that needed a union, this is definitely one of them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, yeah. Elon Musk is a liar. He's an exploiter. He's a capitalist. He does not care about his workers. He doesn't care about society.
South African from a diamond mining family. So
right. Emerald mining. Emerald mining.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just
not diamonds. Emeralds.
Kind of wonder what kind of blood has fertilized this family tree.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.